lot of just informational articles on cloning, and that would spawn like different thoughts and different tangents I'd want to run out on. And sometimes it'd be a dead end, and like, okay, that's not going to play into the book, or that was just completely wrong. And sometimes it would lead to a gold mine of ideas and different things that I would want to incorporate into the book. So I literally consume. I mean, even I was working at a company, and I was like in the Chicago O'Hare Airport, and Scientific American was on the newsstand, had an article in there about therapeutic cloning, and I was like, yes, and I bought the magazine, and that became additional fodder as well. So it was really kind of any and all sources that I could draw from, and then something which was very gratifying for me is one of the persons who did a review of my book. He's actually someone that I've known professionally, and he's a biochemist by trade. That's what he does, and that's what he studied in school. And in his review of it, he actually complimented the level of research and the accuracy that was shown in there as well. So that just kind of helped. It was a little pat on my back.
Well, how does he see the future? Did he tell you his input of what he thinks the future is going to be on cloning?
No, he was actually more involved after the fact. I had him actually read it from as kind of an editing standpoint, and also looked for more of a plausibility standpoint of it. And then when he read the final product, that's when I got the review for it. But he didn't contribute to the ideation of it. And that's one of the things which is just interesting for me to kind of think about myself. Is I had this idea back in 1995, and it was literally it was kind of spawned from taking the DNA from a mosquito that was trapped in amber, right, in Jurassic Park, and then creating a life form of a dinosaur that's been extinct for hundreds of millions of years. And so that's kind of the genesis of the thought process. And then I just mixed that in my crazy brain of all of the things that I like in terms of more the supernatural, paranormal type of stuff. And that's where I was able to cook up the storyline. And so it was very fortunate, I'll say, that science kind of went that direction, and or continued going that direction, not went that direction, but continued following that direction. And maybe it was a good thing that I shelved it for 15 years, because if I had kind of come out with this, back in the mid to late 90s, it might not have been as topical or received as well. But now, just given where things are, I think it struck a really good chord.
Yeah, I don't know 15 years ago if it would even been accepted. I mean, nowadays, they're talking about, they're very close to like cloning even dinosaurs, trying to bring back. So, there's a lot of things that they're trying, and but again, is it going to be like the original? I don't think so, because but I guess they can get close to it. But the whole thing is should we be doing it in the first place? Mm-hmm. Or is it something we should be doing? And that is a decision that, somebody down the road is going to have to make. I do see it happening. I do. At one point, our technology is going to be there where, they're going to come up, and I think society changes. But people thought in the 50s and 60s don't even think the same way now as in the 80s, let alone the 90s to now. So I think the way the morals are going worldwide, I think maybe in a few years something like this would be totally acceptable. Now, I could be totally wrong on this.
Possibly could. It possibly could, absolutely. Yeah, one of the that just when you're talking, it just made me think of one of my more favorite quotes in Jurassic Park. Literally, it's we were so hardworking. If we could see if we could do it, we didn't stop and ask ourselves if we should do it.
Yeah,
and that's I think that's kind of where we might be at now, which is do we pause? Do we? And I think maybe this is the time where you have lots of discussion about it. The one thing I mentioned, that one director who kind of said it was like this epic scientific misadventure. He actually like I was looking on the web actually while I was talking. I can't find exactly what the wording is, but he had said that he was actually pushing something to the House of Representative floor for discussion on just that. So I think I think the public debate on it is just starting, and I think we've got a lot to talk about.
I do. In the past, there's been presidents that totally, said there will never be cloning in our country. But I think society is changing. Their ideas of life are changing. And I just don't know. I think you were ahead in this book by about 15 years. You know that?
I think so. I think it was definitely a good insight that I had back in '95.
Okay, now also, is the book an ebook or a regular book, or what's available? How can they find it? Again, on Amazon.
Oh, absolutely. So on Amazon, just on Amazon.com, you can do a search on Alan-Thompson, ALAN, or you can do a search on Creation Abomination, and I'll show up number 1 on Creation Abomination. I think number 2 on Alan-Thompson, and you can actually pick up the digital version right now. It's normally actually $9.99, but I'm doing a special for about the next week, it's on sale for only $2.99.
Oh wow!
And then it's going to go back up. Yeah, so it's almost like getting an app, right?
Oh yeah.
And then it's also available the paperback on Amazon is $19.99. And then on Barnes and Noble, the paperback is also $19.99 there, and then the hardcover is $32.99. And there again, you just search in Alan-Thompson or Creation Abomination. And I also have a website, which is creationabomination.com, and of course all the social channels from Facebook to Instagram, and so definitely we'll love to get people to follow on that, just to find out more information about the book. And I do put out more kind of interesting topics and things that pertain to the book, but not just the book, but other things that are going on that are related to the book.
Well, how's the people on Facebook taking, what your book is about?
The people on Facebook actually really like it. It's actually kind of funny because, and I fully admit this. So, I'm the marketer, and I have this, 25 years of market experience, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on Facebook, and I'm going to put some advertising dollars into that, and I'm going to build my user base. And so I've grown it to almost 1,200 followers. And now when I look back across my sales, I go, oops, because the demographic to this, because I have people that are in their 70s who buy the book for sure, but the demographic of people who buy this, I'd say probably like 50%, if not even a little bit more when I'm at these events, is people in the 18 to 35, 38 age group. And so that's Instagram in a large respect. And I haven't done much with regard to Instagram at all. I've got literally like maybe 100 followers there. So on Facebook, it's been great. I do a lot of when I do like my in-person like signings and stuff like that. I do a lot of contests where people can post pictures they take with me to enter contests to win like sweatshirts and gift cards and stuff like that. And I've had probably over 100 people participate in those and post the imagery and stuff like that. So it's been really good.
One thing I will say, since you've been in marketing, I don't see Facebook being around a lot longer if they keep going the way they're going. Back a year ago, if you went Facebook Live or if you published something in Facebook, and let's say you had 500 friends or 1,000 or 5,000 friends, right? Everybody would see it. So you put up a little thing and everybody's seen it. Now, if you have even 5,000 people and you post something up there, maybe 25 to 50, 75 people will see it. Now, they got a cure for that. You can go on Facebook, right? And you can go on Facebook ads and pay, and you can make that decision. But again, that's kind of false too, because for this amount of money, it'll say like 250 people to 1,000 people will see it. Undoubtedly, you spend that money, right? It's going to be the lower number. It's never the higher number. And they're trying to, I hate to say it, besides selling our information to companies out there, which they are doing, according to the news here, even today again, they're trying every way they can to make money. And I just hate to say it. I remember MySpace, and I got a funny feeling that's the way Facebook is going to go, because I see a lot of people are dropping off of Facebook that used to be an addict on it, and they're not on it like they used to be. Younger people are not on Facebook as much as the older people, and because they got tired of it.
Totally right. That's totally right. Yeah, it's interesting, and there's almost kind of a dilemma there too. I mean, definitely Facebook has, and you're talking directly to it. They changed their algorithms in terms of how stories that you publish and the level of exposure they get to your followers or people who like your page, and they've done that in such a way so they can definitely drive more advertising revenue for their charter of, hey, we're going to try to maximize shareholder value. I get it. I mean, that's what I did for 20 plus years. But from a user experience standpoint, it's not great. And then you've got the counter argument for that becomes, well, but they're providing this service for free, and so they should be able to monetize it. And then there's a counter for that as well. So I think that I think it will be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, Facebook within how long ago was this? This might have been like a couple months or something like that. They're changing the level of data targeting that they're allowing because of one of the data breaches that they had, and so it's taking. And I even got notifications like for some ads that I was running saying, "Hey, these ads that you're targeting, this targeting won't be available after this date." And so that. Go ahead.
No, I didn't say nothing. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. That is. I think that's a step in a good direction to have them govern themselves better in terms of how they're leveraging the data. But there again, I don't know if that's going to exasperate the algorithms to then minimize the exposure of people and their friends' feeds even more, because now they need to make up for that lost dollars and the more advanced targeting that they're losing. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but they must be making a lot of money with their advertising that they've been throwing up on Facebook. And then again, I was reading here the last couple of days. I mean, they're selling your information to banks. They're selling your information to whoever they can sell it to, so they can actually some of them can even go through and delete. If you post something, like one of these banks or companies that are in with Facebook, they can go in there and just delete what your posting is. So you go look and see what happened to my posting. Well, guess what? One of Facebook partners has the ability to go through and edit and take it out. Then what's going to happen when it gets to the point your employer has that capability? So you post something, even maybe about your job roundabout way, and they go, oh, okay, well, that's not going to be acceptable. Boop, it's gone. I mean, that is really getting scary what's happening. And if they don't get their act together, I see the same thing as MySpace with Facebook. Because now when you're losing your young people and you're getting now the people probably in their 25 to 70 years old using Facebook, that's the same way MySpace went. And then one day that was it. Right.
Yeah, I think that I do think that they need to be very aware of that, because ultimately it's the users that is the users of Facebook that drive their profitability. And so if and I agree with you, if the users decide we're not going to use your platform any longer, then they're going to go somewhere that they're more comfortable, and so that's going to do nothing but lower their ability to make those revenues.
Oh, yeah, and that's going to happen, because like MySpace was so positive, nothing would replace MySpace. I remember them saying that, and one day, I went on MySpace and nobody was there. And
hello,
yeah, hey, I'm here by myself. I'm posting to myself, talking to myself. But anyway, hey, your book, I really think it'd be a very good read. I'm sorry I'm not bubbly like my normal self. I've been in and out of the hospital like 3-4 times this past week. And I'm not up to power here tonight, but I wanted, to get you on because we couldn't get you on last week because we lost our power. And I can't understand where I live. They put underground power all up and down the road, but you go a half a mile or go a mile down the road, guess what? It's telephone poles again, and that's where it loses the power. So, I mean, I don't know. So
Right.
again,
Well,
oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I definitely